That's absolutely fine,
I
no.
can hear something coming. Yeah, so my name's Jennifer Pritchard and I am a sleep consultant for babies and toddlers. Sleep consultant is a fairly new thing in sort of Scotland, Glasgow area. It's getting quite popular down in London, down south. And oh, I'm so jealous, I want a glass of wine.
I couldn't wait. I don't teach on a Thursday night, so I was like, I'm having a glass of wine.
I brought my tea. I thought it'd be unprofessional if I brought a gin with me.
Told you it's informal.
I don't want to upset anyone. Yeah, so it's getting quite popular down south and get more popular in the UK. In like America and Canada, having a sleep consultant is very much the done thing. It's all about who have you used, who have you tried, who have you whatever. It's the norm because they're a wee bit ahead of us in that they get how important it is for the little ones to get sleep for their development, their how their hormones are all working, and development and for parents in terms of your mental health, your physical ability to be able to do things and not put yourself and baby at risk from exhaustion. And simply, my husband and I, we used to have what we call bun fights. We'd like have the simplest argument over the simplest thing through complete sleep exhaustion. It'd be competitions of who was up how many times last night, and this just because we were exhausted. And now we're like, oh, hello. Come in and say hi. There's Annie, look.
Hello, darling.
Hi to Annie.
Hiya.
Oh. Late night, haven't you?
Did you do your big clapping?
Yeah.
Girl, well done.
You saying that night to everybody? You too busy looking at yourself in the camera?
Night, night.
You blow any big kisses? Just looking at ourselves in the camera now. You go and get your toothbrush. Look at the tiny wee baby, like. See the tiny wee baby? That baby's only 3 weeks old. He's so cute. Yeah, right, you go and get ready for bed and Mummy get back to work. Love you, kiss. Love you. Night, night. Mummy, close the door now. Sorry, there we go. Yeah, so it's all about sort of how important it is for us and not having those bun fights and those fallouts and stuff because we are exhausted. So I very much at the minute go, I help families with any sleep challenges their little ones are having or any issues that they're having, routines, schedules, naps, anything like that. But it's very much, Annie will be fed up with me saying it, but I'm very much of that opinion and very much of that focus that whatever you're doing with your little one, as long as you're following safer sleep guidelines, it doesn't matter what you do. If you're feeding to sleep, rocking to sleep, putting the little one into bed, drowsy but awake, whatever it is that you're doing, if it's working for you, then don't change anything. Don't listen to all these little women round at the corner shop or grandparents or that's the rod for your own back or we did this or we did that. As long as you follow safer sleep guidelines, if it's working for you and you're happy to do it, then keep doing it. Don't stop doing it. There's no right or wrong in what it is that you're doing. There's a thing of understanding of what you're doing, what maybe there might be an impact on that or the reason why other things happen, but there's nothing wrong with it. There's also an awful lot of pressure that gets put on you parents for that same reason of, I need to do this right. I've heard the amount of times I've heard clients say to me, is this right, is this wrong? Is it working for you? Yeah, well, it's right. Keep doing it then. Don't bother about it. Don't get yourself upset because we've got so much stress as it is and so much pressure of trying to adjust to this new life without having everybody else's opinion at your back and feeling like you're constantly being watched. So regardless of what I'll say tonight, if it's working for you, what you're doing, keep going. That's a big important thing for me. But so the way that I help families and the way that I sort of work and focus, again, a lot of people think sleep consultants is very much on, you're going to tell me to put my baby to bed and leave them to cry all night long and I'm just not doing that. And I don't do that. I don't agree with that. It's not right. It's not what we do. There's a lot involved when it comes to sleep. Again, a lot of families think that your little one will just automatically fall asleep. And yes, some babies do. Some babies can fall asleep and they don't need that extra help and they don't need that extra support from mum and dad or anything else. Some babies need that association. Some babies need that that support of whatever it is that you're doing to get to sleep because it's a new teach for them. It's learning to walk, it's learning to talk. It comes under the same bracket as that, and a lot of people don't realise that and understand that. So it's about giving them that confidence and giving them that reassurance that they can do this and everything is fine and everything will work. So when I work with families, I don't automatically start working on sleep training, especially newborns and under 4 months old up to the 4th trimester. It's too much of a stimulation for them. It's far too much for them to handle and deal with. So it's all about getting that routine. It's all about getting the structure for them. So when I work with, before I sort of start working with families, the first week is all about your fundamentals. So it's looking at your routine. It's looking at the amount of sleep that they're getting for their age. It's looking at their wake windows, their environment. Everything has an impact. And once you put all of that in place, and once you figure all that out of what works for your baby, not for that baby of that age group, because every little one is different. Everyone has got their own different temperaments, the whole lot. So it's figuring out what works for that little one. And then once you get that in place, sometimes you don't need to do sleep training, because all you need to do is those tweaks. Those little, maybe they're not getting enough sleep, they're only getting 10 hours when they should be getting 12 hours and things like that. So adding all this kind of thing in can make a big impact that you don't actually need to do sleep training. Sometimes you do need to go into it, and there's lots and lots of different options, or lots of different methods out there. It's not just all, again, it's not just one fits all. It depends what the issue and what the challenge is and what's actually going on with the little one. Hang on. Oh, I need my cup of tea. A lot of people will say to me, I've got this problem, I've got that problem, how do I fix it? And I always find it really difficult to answer those questions, because unless I know the big picture of what's going on and what's causing those sleep challenges, I can't always give an answer that's going to work, because depending on the issue depends on your solution. And if I give you a solution for something that I think is causing the problem, if something else is going on in the background that you maybe don't think about or you don't realise, my solution can have the opposite effect and cause more problems and more issues. So it's very much of a, we need to find out what's happening. We need to look at the bigger picture to see what's actually going on before we can look at anything and resolve any issues. There is things that I'll chat about tonight that you can do that does help you and does let you get some kind of like a balance, like a sort of the fundamentals, you know, getting them in place, and quite often that will help you, and especially for newborns at your age group. So we'll have a wee chat about them to see. How many have we got that's got baby little ones just now?
I'm just having a look. Yes, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, roughly 6.
Okay, and are they having like many sleep challenges or anything just now, or is it just kind of like direction and stuff? Just so I know whether I'm kind of answering any questions or anything.
Let me unmute, I think.
Or if I'm going to focus on anything.
I think that lady, Ellen. Ellen, oh, hang on. Oh. I'm unmuting you because you looked like you were about to say something. Are you having any issues?
Just for maybe about 8 weeks or so, she's just been waking every hour. I'm finding it quite hard to get her into a routine, not even a routine, just into getting down to sleep.
Okay.
At a good time without her wanting to be straight back up in an hour's time.
Okay, what age is she?
She's 4.5 months.
Right. I am going to, I'm not promising anything, but I am going to share my screen at the minute. So the big things that we need, that I focus on when working with families, is it's the emotional wellness and it's the sleep science. Like I said, it's not one solution is going to fit all. It's not one thing's going to help everybody. And it's not a case of your little one's 4.5 months, do this, this and this, and you know, in terms of the amount of sleep and stuff. It's about, you get age groups where you have wake windows for your little ones, and a little one might fit slap bang in the middle of it. They might be the short end, long end. So it's all about figuring out where they are. So when you talk about what a lot of the problems that cause issues is overtiredness in babies. So when you, and we've all done it, I'm guilty of it, like she's 5, I've been a sleep consultant now, 2.5 years. So with her, I rocked her to sleep, I fed her to sleep. I did all of that because I thought that's just what you had to do. There was no other choice, that's just what you did, and that was it. I didn't know anything about sleep consultants, I didn't know anything about the hormones and how everything works. It was just, that was just the normal, and you know, and that's what it was. So I've been there in terms of getting up umpteen times through the night, having her sleeping absolutely brilliantly, to then all of a sudden she's up umpteen times through the night and struggling and all the rest of it. And when I'm saying there's always a reason of what's causing their sleep challenges and their issues, it could be overtiredness, which I'm just going to show you a sheet at the minute. It could be their environment, it could be the routine's different, it could be development. And for my little one, her issue was medical. She'd asthma. And so she was going through phases where she was coughing through the night, she couldn't sleep, and it was disturbing everything and knocking things on and stuff. So it takes 3 days for them to create a new bad habit. So if they're waking up for whatever reason it is, at the same time like our one did, then it becomes that habit of waking up at that time and having issues and problems. But one of the things that people, and again, I didn't know anything about it, one of the things that people don't realise is they put their little ones to bed when they're showing their tired signs, and they think, oh, they're tired, like, let's get them to bed, let's get them settled. By the time they show their tired signs, they're already overtired, which you end up resulting in having stress hormones rushing through their little bodies, which is adrenaline and cortisol, and that stays in their system for 18 to 24 hours. So it's a whole knock-on effect that these little ones are having in their tiny little bodies of trying to go through everything else and process everything else as well. So the ideal situation with them, and I'll see if I can try and share this. Wish me luck. Oh, have we got it? Let me see. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Right. What?
Yeah. Can see the Zoom, just your Zoom.
Right, there we go. Right. So this is your sleep needs, right? This is the amount of sleep that your little ones should be getting in a 24-hour period.
Everyone's like, right. Yeah. I'm just going to quickly write this down.
Yeah, no, absolutely, by all means. If any of you want anything, I'm more than happy. Send me an email and I can email stuff out to you if you want anything, you know, if there's anything that comes up or any queries or questions, I'm more than happy to send you stuff out.
I think everyone's just like, right, I'm going to... Parents need like black and white facts.
Yep, exactly, that's it. I've had chats with other sleep consultants, and I've seen other like parents I spoke to me of saying, oh, I've tried this and I've tried that. And the one thing that they've all spoke about is wake windows, and the one thing that I've kind of noticed an awful lot is their wake windows are a lot bigger than the ones that I work with. And this is again where I'm saying it depends where your little one fits in. And it's working out what their cues are, it's working out what they're telling you, because they're telling you everything, they're the ones that you need to listen to. So with this, with the sleep needs, so for your little ones, so your one was what, 4.5 months old, so I would still work round about the 3 months, or just sort of in between. There's not really much of a difference. So that's between 14 and 16 hours in a 24-hour period. Now the reason why you've got such of a big gap between the day sleep and the night sleep, when you're looking at, like, say, between sort of your 1 month, 3 month to your 6 month, is it depends on what feeding schedule that you're on with your little one. So, you know, if they're up every 3 hours or 4 hours feeding, you might be up more often with them, so they might be waking for like half an hour or so. So that's where you get that difference. But it's split between your days and it's split between your naps during the day and your night time. But it just depends how much they're feeding. But ideally, that's what you look to be getting, is between 14 and 16 hours. And one of the best ways that is one of my top tips that I tell everyone to do, and I get clients to do it before I work with them for a few days, because again, that gives me a big picture, is record everything. Get onto the baby app, so record it on your phone yourself, whatever the app that I generally quite use is one called Baby Connect. You can see all how much sleep you're getting. It shows you graphs, it gives you timelines of what's happening, it lets you look at their weight, how much they're feeding, their nappies, everything like that. And so the reason I get my clients to use Baby Connect is there's a bit on it that you can leave messages. So if they're struggling with something, or if I see something, I think, let's have a wee tweak here, or let's add this in, or, oh, absolutely amazing, look what has happened, look at the achievement. You can leave little like text messages on it and stuff like that. So you can add caregivers. So like if you and dad both had the app, and mum's out and about, or dad's at home or something like that, then both of you can see how things are going and what's what, and it gives you that kind of little communication as well between all of you, so you're not having your bun fights and your competition, because you can see clearly who's what or doing, you know, it gives you all that kind of help and that support. So definitely record everything, record it all down. And again, one of the things that helps with recording, again, when I'm saying about becoming habits, it lets you see that if your little one is starting to wake up at 2 o'clock every single morning, is that becoming a habit, or is that because they actually genuinely need that feed at that time, or is there something else that's going on? It's figuring out what's happening as to why they're waking up at that time. So when your little one's born or newborn, I would definitely recommend starting to look at recording all your stuff and see what you've got. The other sheet that I'm going to show you, if I can just scoot back.
So, how would I know if it's a habit or if it's just she needs a feed? Is it just if she wakes up and she's not really taking much milk, or?
Yeah, so basically when it comes to, this is a week windows one, if she, for 4.5 months, she can still eat 4 feeds, she can still have up to 4 feeds. I always like to double check my board to see what I've got. She can still, 4 times a night, she can technically still have a feed. She can at that age, if she's getting enough calories. A lot of people think cluster feeding at night is the way forward and it sees them through. It doesn't. You need to get the calories and the nutrition in during the day. And that's what sees them through at night time. It's not the cluster feeding, it's not anything like that. Dream feeds can help at night time, but it's not the constant cluster. So if she wakes up during the night, you'll feel, and again, it's when they're, if you're breastfeeding, you'll feel the difference of whether she's actually feeding from you or whether she's just suckling. If she's just suckling, she's not feeding, therefore she doesn't need that feed, or she's finished feeding, or she's woke up but she's just needing you to get her back to sleep again and this is the whole thing. So, okay, I feel like I'm jumping about all over the place and I always end up getting confused in what I'm saying and what I'm not saying. When I'm saying that whatever you're doing, if it works for you, that's absolutely fine. One of the things that people or sleep consultants or experts try and say, the reason why you want them drowsy but awake when you put them into their bed is if they wake up during the night or if they wake up from a nap, if their environment is different, and you've got 2 sides to the environment. You've got the environment being their bedroom being calming, peaceful, quiet colours, all that side of it, but then you've also got the environment being, have they got white noise on in the background? Is mummy still feeding them? Is daddy still rocking them? All this kind of thing, that all becomes part of their environment. So if they're falling asleep being fed or being rocked, if they wake up through their sleep cycle and they're not being fed and they're not being rocked, they panic and they think, oh my days, where's mum, where's dad, what's happening? And that's what wakes them up even more. And that's when they start shouting and getting upset, and then that's when they need mum or dad to go and do what it was they were doing. And that's why you end up finding that little ones, we all wake up through the night, we all wake up through our sleep cycles. There's never a baby that sleeps through because we don't sleep through. It's about waking up from your cycle to be able to put yourself back over again. And if their environment's different, then they can't put themselves back over. They need that same environment to put themselves back over again. Whereas if they fall asleep in their bed on their own with their white noise on and their nightlight or whatever, and that's how they fall asleep, when they wake up, if that's exactly the same, they think, oh, that's fine, and go back to sleep again. It's creating that same environment for them. So there's nothing wrong with you getting up during the night and feeding your little one to sleep. But that's why it's happening, because they're used to you doing it and they need you then to get them back to sleep. So it's about breaking that association and that habit for them if you want to do it. It's not a case of you must or you shouldn't. It's just understanding that's what's going to happen. That's the reason being you having to get up through the night with it. Okay. So I would have a look at that. It's like I say, there's nothing wrong with it, but have a look. So with your little one, with all your little ones, the wake windows, this is the time where the length of time they can be awake before they get overtired. Excuse me. When it says for your newborn and it says 40 minutes, what that means is if they get up at if they wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, you want them back in their bed at 20 to 9. That's how their wake window is. And that includes, it's never ever too early to start a routine. There's a difference between your routine and your schedule. Your schedule is your timing. So your schedule you don't have until your little one's about 6 months old. So that would be waking up at 7 in the morning, having your first nap at 9. They have, depending how long they have the first nap for, they might have their second nap about 1 or something. Maybe a cat nap in the afternoon about 4 o'clock and then bedtime at 7. That's your schedule. You don't get that until they're 6 months old. And that's to do with the wake windows. Because when you get to like the 6 month mark, their windows are much, much bigger. So the rest of the time up to that point, you are making your little one sleep a priority as best you can. I appreciate things are different just now because we're on lockdown, but we're not on lockdown people go out and about, they go to classes, they go and do all these different activities, which is great for mum because it gets them out and gets them socialising. It's great for dad to go and meet other dads and go to classes and groups and stuff. And it's good for the little one, but it's not good for the little one if it's overlapping all their naps, because they're not getting to go through these sleep. The only good thing about that is up until 4 months old, your little one can sleep anywhere because they're still in the newborn phase. And the reason being for that is they're not born with a circadian rhythm. They're not born with a body clock. That doesn't start to develop until they're about 8 or 9 weeks old. So that's why up until that point, you can go absolutely anywhere with them. Restaurants, parks, classes, anything, and they'll just sleep when they're going to sleep because they don't know the difference of day and night. They don't know what time it is. They can't make any of that out. But once they get to that sort of, say, 10-week stage and onwards, which is all part of your 4-month sleep regression, their body clock starts to develop. So they start to develop sleep cycles. And that's when it becomes more of a challenge in terms of, some parents maybe think they're restricted to the house and they can't get out because of the length of the week windows and because of getting them the sleep that they need. But it's about working around all of that and figuring out what's actually best and what works, and compromising things and knowing how to compromise and make little changes and tweaks so it suits you. And you can do what you want to do. So when I'm saying about having a routine, your routine for your newborn is going to be something like, in an ideal situation, let's say, is what works for you, but a routine for a newborn would be something like they would wake up, you would give them a feed, you would have a play with them, and then you put them back to their bed. And by doing it that way, you're not having that feed to sleep association because you're feeding them when they wake up and not when they go to bed. But let's say if you're feeding to sleep and you're happy with it, it's your choice what you decide to do or what you want to do and what works for you. Excuse me. And then part of your routine is going to be your pre-sleep routine. A lot of people have bedtime routines, which is absolutely brilliant, and your bedtime routine should only be like 20 minutes, half an hour. Your pre-nap routine, it's always good to have a nap routine, and that should only be like 10 minutes. It's half the time of your sleep routine. And the reason why you have both is all to do with the hormones. So if you can imagine, when you wake up in the morning, you're woke up with cortisol, and that's really high, and your sleep pressure, your adenosine, is very, very low. As the day goes on, they swap over. So your cortisol is what gets you going, it's what builds you up and gets you all excited and pumped up for the day, and adenosine, that's what helps you get to sleep and gives you that sort of, oh, I'm really tired, I need to get to bed. So when that adenosine rises, excuse me, that then also kicks in your melatonin, which the melatonin is helped produced by your sleep routine. So things like at bedtime, having dim lights half an hour before bedtime, having your bath or your baby massage, part of your routine, having getting the jammies on, pulling the blinds down, having their feed if that's what you're going to do at that point, and then having a song or a story, that's all part of your bedtime routine. Your sleep routine, your pre-nap routine, would maybe be your story and song and putting them into the bed. You know, it's only 10 minutes, but it's never ever too early to have that routine. And by doing that consistently, it doesn't matter who it is that does your routine, but doing it consistently, they get to know what's happening and they thrive on routine and consistency. Absolutely thrive on it. It gives them that sense of security. It makes them feel safe. It makes them feel content. They just thrive on it. And that's why when they get older, they watch the same TV programs, they like the same stories and all this kind of thing. They have all that. It's just amazing to watch how much they have that sort of comfort in it all. So it shouldn't matter who does it, but by doing all of that, that sets off their melatonin, which is their sleep hormone, and that along with adenosine is what helps them get to sleep. So when you're taught, I feel like I'm jumping all over the place again. So when you're doing your bedtime routine, your sleep routine, by having that calm, peaceful routine and by not having them going to bed overtired, again, it's more when they start to get to the 4-6 months age, when you've got your sleep cycles and stuff like that. It lets them have more of a restorative sleep. It allows them to go through their sleep cycles more, whereas if they're going to bed stressed with the cortisol and adrenaline rushing through them because they're overtired, they're upset, they're cranky, you get stressed and upset, they mirror your emotions, everything gets thrown out the pram, they don't get to go through their sleep cycles. They don't get to have that restorative sleep. So it's going to end up causing bedtime battles, it causes nighttime wakings, and it also causes early morning rises, or it can do. So it's about working on your wake windows and making sure, so that when they get a little, so like the sort of 2 to 3 month old one, when you look at that, the 60 to 75 minutes, the reason why you've got a difference between that, it's not necessarily some babies might fall into 60 and some will fall into 75. There will be a varied on it, but it's more that when you wake up in the morning, your first wake window will be 60 minutes. So if they wake up at 7, you're going to have them in bed at 8. But as the day goes on, the wake window lengthens, so you have the longest wake window between last nap and bedtime, which is your 75 minutes. But I say with their windows, you might have some babies that are bang on 60 minutes for their morning nap. You might have some babies that are 50 minutes. You might have some that are 70 minutes. You know, it's figuring out where they fit. And by logging everything that you have and keeping an eye on their cue, I say to my clients in that first week of working with them, that for those first couple of days, don't get yourself stressed and upset if you miss your wake window and see their tired signs, because that lets you know how long they can last for, that lets you know where they're fitting in with it, and you can work round about it from that. So for newborns, it's never ever too early to start a routine. A lot of midwives and a lot of health visitors and stuff are very anti-routines, anti-this, and I don't know if they're more thinking of you should be feeding on demand and just doing what you can with them and all the rest of it, but it's more of the, let's say, that routine of bath, bed, bottle feeding, that kind of thing, same story, same songs, all that sort of stuff. That's what your routine is. It's not your routine of your schedule like I'm talking about. It's just having that actual routine, and it helps the production of the melatonin. It helps that come through and it lets them get a better sleep.
There's a couple of wee questions there, Jennifer. First one is, do you recommend white noise machines or blackout blinds?
Yeah. With white noise machines, I didn't use them with Dylan. I had no idea what they were, didn't know anything about them, couldn't understand them. Somebody bought me the You and the Dream sheep. She was not interested in it, couldn't care less about it. But the one thing I will say with white noise, if you're going to use it, it needs to be on for the full duration of sleep. You can't have it, so You and the Dream sheep, don't buy it, it's a waste of your money. And again, it comes down to the environment side of it. If you put it on for them falling asleep, and they wake up through the night and they don't hear the noise, it disturbs them and upsets them, and they don't know what's going on and they don't know why. So you need to have it on for the full duration of sleep. There's lots of different, if you go onto YouTube, there's loads of different free apps that you can get. So if you've got like an old phone or something, to save you going buying all the, My Hummy's the big one that's out just now. I think it's about £80 or something. I've heard mixed reviews on it. Personally, I don't know what it's like or not like. There's free apps out there. I'm very much in if you can get it for nothing or cheap, then why go and spend £80 on something that you maybe not necessarily like or take to or want. But I know a lot of people do like it, but I've heard other people think it's not really worth it.
So you think white noise good as long as it's consistent. And then the other one is blackout blinds. I swear by them.
So again, when it comes to, a lot of people think when it comes to naps, just let them nap downstairs, on the sofa or things like that. When it comes to your newborn, it's what you're comfortable with, because of obviously risks of SID and things like that. I would probably suggest keeping your newborn sleeping in the Moses basket or something like that next to you in the living room or whatever during the day until they get to sort of, I don't know, say 4 months old or something, around about that age. It's what you're comfortable with and what you're happy with. It's not any, at that age, it's fine. It's mum and dad's own preference. But once they get to that age where they're sleeping or they can have their naps in the day, you want their nap environment should be a sleep conducive environment. So blackout blinds, if you need them, in the bedroom, in their cot. You know, it shouldn't necessarily be like, again, you see a lot of people taking their little ones out for a walk thinking fresh air, absolutely brilliant, we'll take them for the walk in the pram and get the nap. Fresh air, absolutely amazing. The movement is, again, especially once they're after the 4 month age. I know a lot of you are all sort of newborns and expecting, but you know, it's a tip for you to know for when they get to that age. That movement of them when they're starting to go through sleep cycles, once they get to the 4 or 5 month age, by pushing them in the pram or being in the car or being on a sling and having that nap on you, You might think you're doing absolutely amazing because you're out walking with them, they're getting an hour's sleep, but realistically it's an hour's cat nap they're having. If you can imagine yourself sitting on a train or in the car or something like that and you fall asleep and you're still moving about, you can still feel that movement and you're not having that deep sleep. That's exactly what happens to them. They're not going through the full sleep cycle, so they don't get that full restorative sleep. So up until 4 months old, crack on, absolutely, they'll sleep everywhere and anywhere at all. It's amazing. But once they start past that age, you're needing to look for stationary naps and you're needing it to be sleep conducive. So the compromise I always suggest to clients is, if you can, all of the naps have in their bed at home, blinds down, blackout blinds, everything like that as best as you can. If you have classes on or clubs on, or you've got to go meet somebody, or you've got to go to the shopping and it interferes with nap time, then you just need to make compromises elsewhere with the other naps or bring things forward or change things. Or again, if you end up wanting to go to 5 classes that week that are, you know, say 10 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week, and at 10 o'clock in the morning, that's their nap time, it's not going to work, then have that compromise of, well, do you know what, I'm going to have to only go to 2 classes at 10 o'clock that morning because it's interfering with their nap. And by interfering in the nap, it's bringing on your stress hormones, it's going to be overtired, you're not going to get the best sleep, and it just has a complete knock-on effect. So definitely white noise, full, if it's on full, yes, the blackout blinds, and make sure your naps are stationary when they get to that point. One of the other things I say to clients, that if you are going out for a walk for their nap, when they fall asleep, either come straight back home and leave them in the pram in the garden, or go and sit in a park somewhere. The pram's stationary. So you've got that kind of compromise of still getting to go out, but they're stationary.
Okay. And someone else is asking there, Claire is asking you your thoughts on co-sleeping.
Your choice, as long as you follow safer sleep.
So nothing wrong with...
I've got a lot of people. I had somebody ask to me before when I was at an event, oh, you're a sleep consultant, you'll be completely anti-co-sleeping. If you follow safer sleep guidelines and it's what you want to do, I have no issue with it whatsoever. It's like I said, it's everybody's own personal choice. We've all got our own personal parenting styles. We've all got our own personal thoughts. As long as you follow safer sleep guidelines, then that's up to you. And one of the other things that they say, I'd heard somebody talking about using a nest in the bed when they're co-sleeping. I wouldn't recommend that, because nests they're against lullaby trust in terms of if baby turns their head and moves, they can suffocate. So with that kind of thing, if you're going to have your little one in it sleeping, they need to be sitting beside you for you to be able to see them. You can't leave them unattended. And so if you're falling asleep next to them in that bed, you're essentially leaving them unattended because you can't keep an eye on them. So for that kind of thing, I wouldn't recommend. But yeah, if you want to co-sleep, just look up Lullaby Trust Safer Sleep Guidelines and that'll give you everything you need to do.
Cool. This is another one that I was actually going to ask you as well. Leanne is asking, what is your thoughts on the common opinion of babies being awake more often during the night when breastfed compared with bottle fed? There's
no difference.
You don't think there's any difference?
No. A lot of people think breastfeeding they'll sleep longer. It's all to do with how the body breaks down breast milk to formula. But it doesn't make any difference in terms of, you hear people saying breastfeed them because it'll fill them up longer, or it helps them better. There's not really any, the breastfeeding might be more something to do with that association of having mum, as opposed to actually having that feed, of that association of falling asleep. It's everyone's choice. If they breastfeed or bottle feed, it makes no difference to the baby. It shouldn't make any difference to their sleep. It's all about them getting the calories that they need, as opposed to what happens. If I remember rightly, they're quicker digesting breast milk than what they are with the formula, and that's maybe where the difference comes of people thinking that the baby actually sleeps longer because it takes them longer to digest the...
Yeah, I think that is the common, there's a definite common conception with that, but...
Yeah, but no, it shouldn't.
But actually, it's not... from what you've said, it seems like it's just a different part of the equation, isn't it? That's extrapolated out. Sleep is a completely different issue to...
Yeah, it's all about getting calories during the day to them. Yeah, it's getting those calories during the day. It shouldn't make any difference whether they're breastfed or bottle fed. It's just about getting that intake for them to sleep at night. Say cluster feeds at night time, it doesn't work. It's not the way to get into sleep. It's making sure they're getting enough through the day, and then you can maybe give them that one dream feed that might be enough to like top them up to see them through as opposed to, but all babies are different. Like so you'll get, I don't think I've got it there to show you, like up until they're sort of what age is it again? Yeah, up to 4 months old, they can technically feed up to 4 times a night. And then once between sort of 5, 6 months old up to like 9 months, they can technically feed up to twice a night. But once they start getting to like 7, 8 months, 9 months, people try and just give them that one dream feed to see them through. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's what works for you. It's, as the parents, you know if your little one needs that feed. You know if they need it because they're hungry or they're having a growth spurt or something like that. The one thing that you just need to be mindful of, if you are feeding them more during the night, you might find that they don't feed them more during the day. So you don't want to have that switch. You don't want to have that kind of opposite effect of more night feeds, because they don't need it. They really don't. It's not that they don't need it. It's, yeah, when they get to that age, they shouldn't be feeding four times a night at 8 months old.
Does anyone else have any questions? Pop it in the wee chat. I just had one that I wanted to ask, because the thing that I see a lot with women that come through classes and everything is that some of them, some parents feel like complete failures next to the next parents who their babies seem to just do it. Do you think babies are different in that sense? Do you think, or do you? Right, okay, good.
Every baby's different. This is the thing, and this is my big sort of drive that I constantly, I've said umpteen times tonight already, you do what works for you and you do what you're happy with. Some babies are quite happy and they will just sleep and they will just fall over, and that's just the way they are. Some babies, they just need that little bit extra more confidence, and the more confident you are with them and the more they mirror your emotions. So if it comes to it that you're trying to do something or you're trying to change something, if you're hesitant or you're not sure about it, they'll mirror that and they won't want to do it, and they'll be like, oh, wait a minute, hang on. If you're not happy, mum, then 2 chances I'm even going to think about doing this. If you're not up for it, you know, you have to be that confident for them. But it's just some babies, there is no baby that's different. But you also need to bear in mind as well, and this might sound harsh and I don't mean it in a harsh way, but some parents give that idea that everything's perfect, everything's amazing and everything's great, and behind closed doors it's not. And then you also have some parents that have high expectations and think that their little one at 3 months old should be sleeping all the way through the night, or they're 6 months old, why they're not like crawling or things like that. They all learn at their own pace. When it comes to learning to sleep, to walk, to crawl, there's no difference to doing that for them going to school and learning their English or their French or whatever. They've all got their own, they all learn in their own time. You just need to be there to support them and give them that encouragement and give them that confidence and give them that support that they can do this. Everything is absolutely fine. There's no but yeah, this is the thing that I keep saying, like, there's so much pressure on parents to be perfect, to give this idealistic of, I've got this, I'm absolutely cruising at this, but behind closed doors, we're all falling apart. I had to do it this morning.
Especially now.
Oh my days, I can't take lockdown anymore. What's going on? And my husband's like, what's going on with you?
I know. Absolutely. So just another one from Anouk. She has two, and she's written a wee, so I'll read it and then I will unmute Anouk, because it looks like she's got quite a few. So first question, when would you, oh no, hang on, I missed out Roxana, but I think actually this question is the same. So when would you recommend the best time to swap from crib to their own room sleeping alone? And then this is Anouk's first question as well. When would you say we should move baby from the next to me cot into own room? I've heard very different professional advice on this and I'm a bit confused. So we'll do that one first.
Lullaby Trust guidelines is they sleep with you in your room until they're 6 months old.
Okay.
So I have to go on Lullaby Trust, I have to go in their guidelines that they sleep with you until they're 6 months old. Again, it's your choice. It's your choice of what you're comfortable with. If you want to keep them in your room till they're 12 months old, if you want, it's your choice. You are the parents. You know them better than anybody else. You know what they're capable of or what they can and can't take. But I have to go in 6 months guidelines. One of the things that you can start doing is, if you are thinking, hang on a second, not too sure, once they get to like the sort of 4 month age, 4.5 month age of feeling it, do you know what, actually I'm going to start putting them upstairs for their naps. you could start trying 1 nap a day in their bedroom. And doing things like that, getting them in their bedroom, getting them playing in their cot, away from that time, the room bright, cheery, everything like that, all of that helps to familiarise them with their bedroom. And even like, if you're going on holiday somewhere, obviously we can't go just now, but wishful thinking, when we can go on holiday or you're going to visit family and stuff like that, wherever it is they're sleeping, like, so if you're going for a weekend away and you're taking a travel cot with you, get them in that travel cot a couple of days beforehand, playing in it, seeing what's all round about them. That familiarisation, again, it all comes to that consistency, it all comes to that reassurance of, oh, actually, yeah, I know where I am, everything's fine, everything's okay. So by doing that with their naps, having that 1 nap in the bedroom gives them that reassurance of where they are. But more, if you're playing with them in there, it's going to build everything up. That if you think, you know, I'm not quite comfortable yet, but you get to the point you think you want to, getting them in that room and doing it, it just helps with that process. It just makes things quite easy. All of a sudden being in one room to get put in another room, they're like, oh my days, what's going on? Where am I? What's happening? And it just creates a wee bit of an upset and a wee bit of a fear and a bit of a worry. So the more you can give them that reassurance, absolutely crack on.
Cool. So our next second question, so she's got a wee one called Axel who's 9 weeks. We've been lucky so far with a wee one who sleeps quite well, but while we have a bed routine and he's asleep by 9 p.m, he consistently has a major meltdown between 7 and 8. We've tried to put him in bed earlier, like start the routine around 6:30, but he doesn't fall asleep earlier. So should we persevere, or might it be that he doesn't get enough sleep during the daytime?
Might not be he's not getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
It might be that he's just super tired, he's not getting the naps, he's not getting that overall sleep that he needs for his age group. It could be that. There could be something else going on, like with colic. Sometimes at colic, it's a certain times at night time, it's a certain issue. So it's finding out I'm doing my other course just now, by the way. And so we've been talking about a lot about colic and stuff like that. It could be that's causing it. But I would have a look at his naps and have a look. If you're saying that he's not going down to bed till 9 o'clock, but you're trying his bedtime routine at 6, well, when is he waking up from his last nap? You know, he should have.
I've just unmuted Anouk there, so you can have a wee bit of.
It's quite funny because I've started to use the Huckleberry app last week, and so I've been recording for the last week, and I can see that he doesn't get 7 to 8 hours during the day. He gets 9 to 10 hours at night because he sleeps usually from 9 to 7 in the morning with one wake up time.
Yeah.
So we're really lucky. But I don't think he gets the number of hours he should during the day, and so that would probably explain. We thought originally it was colics, but that seems to be good now.
Okay.
And because we had a lot of issues with feeding. He had a tongue tied. There was a whole adventure. But now this is going well. It's just that it's really we can predict that we put the dinner on the table. And 5 minutes in, he's just gonna start screaming, and nothing can calm him down. And we tried everything now. I've been trying now the last couple of days to just try to feed him when he starts to melt down, and usually that calms him right down, but it doesn't help. Although now it's going to be his bedtime, I know I can put him in and he's going to sleep.
It could very much just be that he's just not had enough sleep during the day, and the gaps between them are just
too wide.
Yeah,
because I haven't realized that
the ideal sort of wake up time and bedtime, and when I say this time, it's not a case of any time between that. It's being consistent, but wake up and bedtime anytime between 6 and 7:30. So whatever time suits you. So if you're going to go for 6:30 in the morning, it's 6:30 every single morning. You get that little one up out of bed, regardless of how bad and how tough your night's been. Get them up at 6:30 in the morning, and then again, if your bedtime's 6:30, 7 o'clock. That's when they're going to their bed at night time. It's not, so you anything between that is a perfect time. So you just pick what time suits you and you stick with that consistency. And the whole sort of thing that helps with that, and again, you maybe not see the sort of the impact or the sort of difference on it, but when you start having that consistent wake up and bedtime, it starts to help when their circadian rhythms are all good, when that starts to develop, when they start to go into their proper sleep cycles and having more of that schedule of their sleep. That if you get them up at 6:30, they're having their first nap at 7:30, 8:30, next nap is 12, whatever time. So every single day you will get to that point where okay, this is what it is. Maybe not so much in the early stages, because it is about the wake windows. And again, I've had a lot of people say to me, oh, my little one, my newborn, they're only sleeping for 20 minutes here and there and everywhere. That's fine. As long as they're sleeping, they can have, they're very unpredictable in the newborn stage. They might have a 20-minute sleep one minute, they might have 4 hours the next time. It's very unpredictable, because it's just they don't have that circadian rhythm, so they just sleep when they're sleeping. But if you can start like now, of getting them up at that time in the morning and try and have them bedtime at that time, it just helps with that routine, and it helps with that consistency of what's happening and what's going on, and it builds them more of that that comfort for them, and it makes it easier for you as they start getting older. And it can be really, really tough, because if you have been up lots at night time and you're absolutely exhausted, you think, oh, I'm just going to let them sleep, it's fine. But by doing that, so again, if they get to like sort of 3-4 months old, if you start to do that, then your routine goes out to pot, because okay, instead of getting up at 6:30, you get them up at 8, so their naps then won't be till 11, and or when they're older, you know, so everything gets put off, bedtime then gets put later, then it knocks on to the next day. So keep as consistent as you can with your routine, your times with that kind of thing, of wake up and bedtime. But at that age, very much work on those windows, very much make sure that they're getting that sleep that they want. One of the other things on your nap, sorry, I'll say on that, I've heard a lot of people say that the first nap of the day, don't let them sleep longer than half an hour, and the lunchtime nap, let them sleep for as long as they want, for 2 hours. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The first nap of the day, in an ideal situation, you want that to be the longest, because that sets them up for the day, and then the other naps be whatever. But it's more important that you get the amount of sleep that they need in that day, as opposed to, oh, I can't let them sleep past that in the morning. It's more important that they get, if they're to get 4 hours of sleep in that day, if they get 4 1-hour naps, or an hour and a half naps and wee short naps for the rest of the day, that's more important than having a half hour and splitting it up. So just don't get yourself sort of caught up in that.
Okay, thanks Jennifer. Thank you, Anouk. So this is one from Leanne, who is going to have quite a small age gap, 17 months between her wee ones. So she's just asking if you have any tips for balancing the sleep of babies who are close in age. My wee girl will be 17 months when my baby's born. In Touchwood, we've been really lucky with her sleep routine and worried about that changing with a newborn. Have you worked with many families in that situation?
Yeah, I would now definitely be talking to her. Communication is a massive, massive big key of what's happening, what's coming, the changes. Make her so involved in everything that's happening, everything's going. Keep her routine consistent. Don't change anything of that as much as you possibly can. Have lots of cotton room play with her, being in her bedroom, or even in her brother or sister's bedroom with her, having that reassurance of what's happening and what's going on and everything around about them. And you can even at that age start doing a thing, I know it might sound a bit silly, but practice, like, does she sleep through the night okay herself? Is everything fine with her already?
Yeah, she sleeps really well actually, so I think that's why I'm worried about.
A couple of tips that you can do on it is, one, do some practice role play with her, so you can get like her teddies and her dollies and stuff like that, and just sort of have her pretend of like her baby when you've got the little brother or sister, or what he's doing and what's happening. But one other thing you can do is in her bedroom. Okay, so if you wake up during the night, this is what you need to do if you wake up, and tucking herself in and all the rest of it. White noise in her bedroom might be a good thing to sound out baby if baby's up through the night and crying. There was one of the other things I was going to say to you there that it was a good idea and it's went out of my head. Oh, what was the other thing I was going to suggest for you? White noise, role play. That was it. If she got a lovey or anything like that she sleeps with?
A what, sorry?
She got a lovey, like a little teddy or something that she sleeps with?
No, she's never had it. She has just been really good at going to sleep herself, so I've taken something like that. One
of the things you could maybe get, or you could maybe try, is if she's got a little teddy.
Right, okay.
And it could even just be a teddy that stays in her bed. You could do the whole, I even done this with my little one the other night there, because for some reason she was just being a little monkey, and I'm like, okay. But you can get the teddy and just give the teddy loads and loads of kisses and cuddles, and then when you tuck them into bedtime at night, and just, you know, if you wake up, if you hear your little brother and sister, just cuddle your teddy, because that's mummy giving you kisses and cuddles. You know, she's getting just stuff like that. But a big part of it it should really affect her sleep if she's already sleeping really, really well. But it's reassuring her. It's giving her that communication that, you know, a wee brother or sister is coming. They might be a bit noisy because they're a little bit baby, so you need to, and I know she's still really young, but it's trying to encourage her to be part of it, but also giving her that time as well. Like, one of the other things you can do, I'm throwing everything at you now, special time, and that helps to give her reassurance. And basically all special time is having one-on-one with her.
Yeah.
No brother or sister, no daddy. Daddy can do it with her as well, but give it a name. So it could be mummy and whatever her name is, special time, and it could be once a day for between 5 and 20 minutes. Set your timer on your phone, so that's the timer, so she knows that that's her time. No TVs, no nothing. The phone's away with the alarm on it, and it's just that 100% focus on her, and that gives her that reassurance that she's got that time with mummy.
Yeah.
There's no other sister interfering, there's nothing else happening, this is my mummy, and that's it. So it's obviously going to have to fit in when dad's about, for dad to take baby away for that little bit of time and that sort of stuff. But that wonders on giving them that reassurance and giving them that support that everything is okay and everything's fine. So just wee things like that, just wee games like that with them can make a big difference. It shouldn't, I'd be surprised if it affects her actual sleep. It's just how you work round about her with this new baby and make sure she's confident and stuff with things.
Yeah, okay, that's great, thank you.
Hopefully that helped.
Thanks, Leanne. Claire, so there's two Claires on here, just because I don't know everybody here. So the first one is just asking about babies sleeping on their side rather than their back. Again, what does a lullaby trust say on that?
Back.
Definitely on the back.
SID risk. You get some babies that do find themselves comfy rolling over on their sides and things like that. It's a whole to do with there's been a lower SIDS since the whole On Your Back campaign came out. I can't remember how many years ago it was. There's been a lot lower drive in it, so definitely on the back.
When they get to the stage where they can roll over, is that fine to leave them, Jennifer? Or
It's not such if they can roll over and they can lift their head, it's not such a big panic, it's not such a big thing. When they get to that point where they can start rolling over, again, practice lots of rolling back and forth to get them in that, because sometimes when they roll over they get really upset because they can't roll back, and that's what disturbs them and upsets them. The whole thing with like rolling over is as long as they can move their head, or as long as they can get out the way of something and the bed's clear, there's nothing in the bed that they can suffocate or anything can interfere. But initially, always on the back.
Cool.
On the back, even if they're suffering from like reflux and different things like that, things like elevating the bed slightly to make things more comfortable until you find out what the cause of reflux is and what's going on with it, on the back.
Cool, thank you. So Claire McCartney, what are your thoughts on dummies? My 5-month-old takes a dummy to sleep, but he can be waking every 30 minutes for it to be put back in some nights, and I'm not sure if this is due to teething. What's your thoughts there?
Dummies, again, it's your own choice. You get a lot of people say don't give them a dummy after 6 months. You get a lot of people say if they've not had a dummy by the time they're 3 months, don't give it to them, don't introduce to them. Again, it's personal preference and what you do. The only thing that dummies cause an issue with is the falling out and trying to get it back in again. You'll go through a phase with them where it'll be falling out, and until they get that practice of being able to put it back in themselves, that you can leave a wee corner of dummies that they know where they are if they need to get them. You do have that little bit of a problem with it. In terms of using it, I don't have any issue in using it or not using it. It's your choice. It's what was the other part you'd asked about it?
Well, just the fact that it is waking up a lot, so he can be waking every 30 minutes for it to be put back in. So is that the issue with the sleep then? Hang on,
It could be to do with the sleep, it could be to do with being overtired, it could be doing with it becoming habit, it could be doing their sleep cycles when they're babies are only between 30 and 45 minutes, 40 minutes long. So it could be that he's waking up every cycle and that's what's happening, that he's waking up because his dummy's falling out, or he's waking up realising his dummy's out. It's how long is his dummy falling out after he's fallen asleep? You know, what's the...
Like they can go to sleep for like maybe 4 hours when he's put down at night, but then like maybe from like 2 in the morning, it's then every half an hour that he's waking up.
That could be
and the dummy's going back in and he's going back to sleep. It could be as soon as it's back in. Yeah,
it could be overtiredness. It's waking them up, and it's because because his hormones are going through this, what I was saying earlier on, it can cause bedtime battles and nighttime waking. So he'll get to that certain point, and if he's waking up for whatever reason, so if he falls asleep and his dummy falls out after 5 minutes, but he keeps sleeping, once he's come out of that cycle, like these 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and he realises he's not going to get his dummy, like, oh, whereas and pops it, you know, you put it back in, he goes back to sleep, and he's doing another cycle, because their sleep cycles are only like between 30 and 40 minutes, they're not long. So that sounds like he's not able to go, like consolidate his cycles in the second part of the night, which might be, it could become a habit for that one, or it could just be down to his overtiredness. So I would have a look at how much sleep he's getting and have a look at his wake windows. That can make a massive, massive difference.
I think we're on 2 hour wake windows just now, so I think he's maybe a week slightly too long for being 5 months.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely shorten it. Again, just play about with it, even if it's the next couple of days of that you don't focus on the week windows, but you focus on what he's telling you in terms of as soon as you see eyes rubbing or anything like that, straight into bed, as soon as you can get him into his bed. So, because the whole point of the window is you want them showing you the tired signs when you're just finishing your pre-sleep routine or when they're lying in their bed, you know, so they're just ready to go to sleep again. But because by the time they show you the tired signs and you're starting your routine, they're going to be 10, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later than what, you know, of going to bed and what they should have been. So I definitely do that. One tip on your dummy, if and when you decide to take it away, cold turkey.
Okay.
Cold turkey.
Yeah.
The reason being is if you give it to them for bedtime but not for naps, or you give it to them for sleep but not for anything else, it causes confusion. And you end up having accidental parenting, which it just causes an absolute uproar for you, for them, the whole lot. It's tough and it will be difficult for a few days, but cold turkey is the easiest and best way forward.
Okay, thank you.
Cause confusion.
Thanks, Jennifer. Thank you, Claire, for that. So just a question from Emily now. So she is asking about naps. Just unmute Emily here. So any tips on how to extend day naps? We consistently get 30 minutes, but struggle to get any longer. We have routines and blackout blinds, but unless we're in the room with him, he won't go past 30 minutes. What age is Rudy now, Emily?
He's just over 6 months. He's
just over 6 months. So it's getting beyond the 30 minutes of naps. How much do you think you should be getting?
How's what wake windows is he working on, and how does he fall asleep? Is he falling asleep himself, or?
He does. I suppose wake windows were probably about 2 hours, 2.5 hours maybe.
Yeah, anywhere between 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and we have a kind of routine where we go and change his nappy and then sing him a wee song and then put him down into his cot. He will sleep in his cot and he goes to sleep sort of right away, and he will consistently sleep for a minimum of 30 minutes. Sometimes we manage to get 40 minutes, but most of the time it's about half an hour.
But it's only 3 times a day.
Yeah.
The naps. So.
But he sleeps brilliantly overnight. So
what time's he going to bed at, and what time's he waking up at?
He goes to bed at between 7 and 7:30. He's always asleep by 7:30, and he wakes up at about 5:20 in the morning.
Overtired.
Right. Okay.
Guarantee he'll be overtired, because that's, if he's waking up at 5:30 in the morning, what time are you putting him down for his first nap?
To be fair, what normally happens in the morning is he wakes up at 5:30. I'll maybe go in. It might require kind of a nappy change, and then I'll put the dummy back in, and he'll kick on for about another hour and a half. So genuinely, he's up at about 7, and then his first nap is between 9 and 9:30. Yeah. So we don't bring him up. Well, we certainly don't wake him up at 5:30. We normally
try and get him back over.
Okay, that 5:30 wake up is going to be a habit. And a part of it might be overtiredness, because he's not getting, if he's only getting like 3 half-hour naps in the day, he's not getting anywhere near the amount of naps that he should be getting. Really, you want another hour and a half on top of that. So I would be looking, be consistent again with what time you're waking him up at in the morning and what time you're putting him down to bed at. Keep that regardless of what time, try and be consistent with it, so you're getting that sort of 12 hours at night time. One of the things you could try and do, and this is trial and error, and again, everything I'm saying is like, it's tips and things to look at and work on, but unless I have that big picture, I don't know what's going on. And a lot of times parents will say, oh, I've got this going on, I look at the questionnaires and everything that I get people to fill out, and I'll see something else that you don't maybe necessarily see or think because you're living in that routine. But one of the things you can try is a thing called wake to sleep. And I remember I did this with my daughter. My husband said to me, "On your head be it if you wake up," because he's like, "Oh my days, we're not having this." And basically what it is, so if you can do it for bedtime, you can do it for nighttime, you can do it for it's not a sleep training thing as such, it just helps them go into another cycle. So you can do it if they wake up during the night, or for your naps and stuff like that. It's something you could consider doing for your 5:30 wake up, but that might be because it is overtired. So by maybe lengthening the naps a little bit, that might fix it. Or there's 3 ways you can do it. You can either do it for your nighttime wake up and your naps, or you can do it for one or the other. Generally, I always work in night sleep first, because sleep begets sleep, so the more they have, the more they want. So once you fix that night sleep and you get that consolidated and going through, it quite often reflects back onto the naps again. But what you're going to do is, so if he's, just say we're talking about for your naps, 10 or 15 minutes after he's fallen asleep, go into his room and you're just going to give him a little bit of a nudge. You're not going to wake him up, and this is where it's trial and error. You're going to give him you want to have a reaction from him. So the reaction might be enough for him to flinch his nose and make a wee face, or the reaction might be that he actually sort of turns over or makes a noise or something like that. It depends how much of a reaction of what it's going to do. But by doing that, it takes him out the cycle that he's in and puts him back into another one. So you should essentially get like another sleep cycle out of him, and it helps him consolidate their sleep cycles. So like if he's waking up at 5:30 in the morning, unless I know what's causing that wake up, I don't know if it'll work or not. But if he's waiting at 5:30 in the morning, you can go into his room at like 4:45, 5 o'clock and do the exact same thing. But if you're saying he's having a feed at 5:30, then he's obviously needing that feed at that time. And that's so in that kind of, you don't, wake to sleep's brilliant. Breaking a habit and doing reduced stream feeds and all these other things are absolutely amazing if they don't need that feed. But if they need that feed and they need the time, then you can't. It's not worth it. It's not fair on them.
Yeah, he doesn't feed at 5:30. He normally needs his nappy changed at 5:30. And I was wondering if that's how he was getting into the habit, but
changing his nappy before you go to bed.
Yeah, we've kind of tried that as well. That's kind of part of our routine, but I think we'll definitely give that a try for his daytime naps and see if that kind of helps get us a wee bit longer during the day, and then hopefully that would mean that we get that extra hour that we're looking for.
It might also be as well, one of the things to bear in mind, like I know he's 6 months old, and the window so my like shortest window would be 2 hours. If he's overtired, you might need to look at doing like an hour and 45, like shorten it, like, you know, because sometimes again, because these hormones are in their system and have been for so long, they end up getting so overtired or so exhausted that even when you start working on the windows, that might be enough. But sometimes you just need to go at the short end of it or just before it, just to kind of try and catch up and get back on track with them.
Okay, that's good. Thanks so much. We'll try.
No, that's absolutely fine. But again, the next couple of days, just keep an eye on when you're seeing any tired sign whatsoever, and then that way you'll know that's it. So if he wakes up at 7 tomorrow and he starts showing his tired signs to you at 8:30, you know that's it. 90 minutes, he's in his bed, we can't wait any longer. So the next day at 8:20, you want to start doing a pre-sleep routine, so he's in bed for 8:30.
Brilliant, thanks so much, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Cool, thanks Jennifer for that one. And then this is just one from Roxana, who is in my pregnancy class. I know she's still pregnant, so she's obviously thinking of wee tinies, but do you recommend swaddling the baby for better sleep?
Swaddling helps with excuse me, I didn't swaddle Dylan, didn't know anything about Dylan until I did my sleep training. It's amazing the stuff I found out. Swaddling is really good for the motor reflex. So when they're newborns, they'll fall asleep and they'll flinch and they twitch, and that's what wakes them up again. And it's the motor reflex, they can't control it. It's just their whole body's having that, becoming awake and alive and moving about and doing things. So the whole point of swaddling is it stops that from happening. The other thing with swaddling, it gives them that comfort of being inside mum's tummy, because of that whole sort of that fetal position, all wrapped up, all snug, all tight, all warm. It gives them that comfort as well. So yeah, swaddling's absolutely fine. There's lots of different ways of swaddling. There's lots of different things that you can get. One of the things that again, I've not seen it, I've not used it, but I know a lot of people who have and highly recommend it. It's a sleep suit called the Merlin. I can't remember what age it is you can use it from. I'm not sure if you can use it from newborn or not. But that it's like it's like a sleep suit, and if I remember right, it looks like a flight suit. So they can
Yeah, I use them. Oh my
yeah,
God.
so they can move about a little bit, but they can't like.
Hands, the wee hands are up like that, because obviously a lot of them love the wee comfort of their face. And it really zips them up. Oh, they're brilliant. They're
so it stops them from being, I think it stops them from rolling over when they get to a certain point as well, but they're struggling. It kind of helps with that, but it helps with the reflex and not beating themselves up and stuff. So that's another, because some little ones are little monkeys, they manage to get out their swaddles.
Yeah, they're brilliant. I didn't discover them till my third baby, but they're so cute as well. They look like wee skydivers with their wee hands up.
That's it. I've never seen them. I'm pretty certain it's the Merlin sleep suit. Oh no, it's not. It's another.
It wasn't Merlin. I'm going to forget. I'm shocking at remembering things like that. But I just go on Amazon. I'll try and find the details, Roxana. They're really good, because they zip, so you don't need to worry about, because they can get out. They're so strong when they're even newborn, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. And then this is one obviously for an older wee one. This is our last question, Carly. When do you stop using like the sleep sack and use a duvet? Have you got any ideas on that?
It's your own preference of what your little ones like. Some little ones are quite happy in their sleep sacks until they're 2 and 3 years old. It depends on what I'm trying to think what age Dylan was when I got her out of hers. I think she was maybe about 18 months old or something like that. When because you get them in different weights, you get them in so many different sizes. There's no, from a sleep point of view, I wouldn't say there's any right or wrong in them. It's what you're comfortable with and what you're happy with. The one thing I would start saying though is, if when you are going to like take them out of sleep suit, maybe have like blankets and stuff or sheets on them, is if they're old enough, even when they're not old enough, talk to them about it, chat to them about it. That communication is massive. They might not be able to say words back to you, but they understand every single thing they're saying to you. They get everything you're telling them. But if they're old enough that you can try and do some practice and stuff like that with them, like make the bed up or get them into your bed and say, look, you're getting this big boy bed or big girl bed, and start tucking them in and all this. What age is the little one?
Hang on, I'll just unmute Carly. Hang on.
Hi. She's only 7 months, but I'm more just thinking ahead.
Yeah.
She's really wiggly.
There used to be a thing that you can get, a friend of mine used, she actually done a video on it for her page. It was the Grow Company.
Yeah, I was just about to recommend them as well.
Is it the zip to sleep thing?
They don't make them anymore.
No, I looked at it.
They don't make them? What, are they not safe?
No, they've just discontinued. Oh no, the company got bought over.
Oh, did they? Because they're amazing, and it's just a way of keeping them warm. So it's like a duvet, but it zips up the side of their wee toddler beds.
Yeah.
So, really, I was looking forward to buying one again.
There's another consultant, one of our consultants, she's down south. She did a video on hers. I absolutely loved it, and it was her that was telling me that something had happened with them being discontinued or bought over or something like that. I'm sure she says there was one other place that you can maybe buy them from. I'll try and find out, and I'll let you know. I'll message you.
Carly, just on that, they'll let you know when they're ready, because my wee one's 2, and she used to get herself out of her sleep sack and fling it out the cot. So I had to.
That'll be Caitlin.
So I had to say, oh, you want a duvet then? So she used the duvet. Yeah. I don't know if I've actually lost Jennifer there. She froze on the screen and she's still frozen. I can't hear her. Well, that has come to the end of the questions anyway. Let me just see if Jennifer's going to come back. So, does anyone else get anything else while we're waiting on Jennifer? Pop a wee comment on the chat. Let me unmute y'all. Hang on. I hope it was helpful, guys. Jennifer, obviously in an hour you can't really go into it all like Jennifer does. So if she is working with you guys, like if you chose to like work with Jennifer, like she goes into like masses of detail, and it's like telephone consultancy. So we've only really scratched the surface tonight, but I hope we've given you a wee kind of taster into what to expect, all the different like ages and things. Here's Jennifer coming back. Hey, don't know what happened there, dude.
Oh, my internet's playing up something terrible. I've had 2 modems change. engineers out. It's been horrendous.
Really? I thought it was just because like the whole world is on Zoom. It was end up wishes. I was just winding up there, Jennifer, actually, because that was the end of the questions. So I was just saying if anyone's going to work with you, you know, as in employer services, then you go into so much more detail, and it's hard to scratch the surface in just an hour.
There's so much involved in it. It's not just like a simple do this, do that, everything. There's so much involved in it, and it all comes down to as well, like baby's temperament, parenting styles, what they want, what they don't want, there's lots and lots involved, lots of
absolutely.
But yeah, being consistent, having a good routine, and you know, recording things, that's some of the top tips. Be a team, you know, work together, decide what you're doing, what you aren't doing. Just don't sort of, if you do one thing 1 minute and then do something different the next minute or the next night, it causes such a confusion for little one, and it just makes things so difficult. So yeah, there's lots, but there's always a reason for your little one having a sleep challenge if they are having one. So don't think it's anything you're doing or you're not doing. It's just there's just something going on. They just need that a little bit extra help or support, or things changed or tweaked. So
young with a baby boy, don't you think?
No,
I don't think Roxanne.
I have something just about, you see the wake to sleep thing?
Yep.
See the 5:30 wake up?
Mm-hmm.
We've started to have this kind of issue the past kind of 3 days, and she does kind of sing a bit to herself, then go back to sleep. But when you're saying wake to sleep, so she wasn't like this too, maybe even last week, but we seem to have turned a corner this week. So that's good. But say, for example, she goes to bed about 7, maybe wakes about 10, 11 o'clock, has a change in nappy, has a feed, and goes straight back down again. Sometimes she'll take her dummy, sometimes she won't. I'll leave it up to her. She can take it in and out, so I just put it beside her. And then she wakes up at 5:30. The past couple of days, I've not actually gone in at 5:30. I've just kind of left her to, it's, you know, the different cries, you know, the cries when they're absolutely screaming, and the cries when they're just kind of gurning. And she's just kind of gurning, and it's a 5:30 in the morning, and it's you're a bit hazy yourself, but she does go back to sleep. Usually till maybe about 6:30, kind of 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
When you're doing the wake to sleep, when would I do that?
Again, I don't know if I would necessarily do it for that, because we all make noises, the same as we wake up through our sleep cycles, we wake up through the night, we all make noises in our sleep. She might not have fully woken up, she might just be going through a wee sleep cycle and putting herself back in again. So by you going in and doing stuff might be disturbing her even more. So you're absolutely spot on in saying that you know your baby's cries, you know what they're saying, you know what they're telling you. It's okay to leave them for a few minutes. You don't have to, as soon as you hear something, think, oh my days, what's going on, and jump in at them and jump all over them, because they might just be coming through a wee cycle themselves, they might just be talking in their sleep, they might be anything like that. And by mum and dad coming in and interfering with them, whatever it is, can be disturbing them and can make them more upset. And more, I know the wake to sleep is the point of trying to get them in and out, but by your presence at whatever point they're in might be enough just to completely wake them up and disturb them, and that's what you don't want. So if you can tell with her cries that she's just gurning, she's just kind of blething away, she's happy, and she's going back to sleep again, just leave her.
Right, so it's okay just to leave her.
I wouldn't bother at all with it. If it starts to become more of a problem, she's waking up at that time, then she starts getting upset, she starts shouting and starts whatever, then it's okay, why is she waking up at that time? Is she genuinely hungry? Is she overtired? Is it now become a habit and she's just getting fed up and annoyed because she's not getting attention? So then the wake to sleep and things like that would happen. But the big thing I see an awful lot of with
so in that, sorry to interrupt you there, but
okay.
So say for example, if this continues, and I totally understand what you mean about a 3-day thing, because it definitely is that with Caitlin. Like, it does take 3 days for anything to kind of settle in.
Yeah.
So say for example, she keeps on waking up at 5:30. So does that then mean when she falls back to sleep after 5:30, so say she gurns at until 6 o'clock, when she falls asleep, wait 15 minutes and then give her a wee nudge?
No, so what you're going to be doing, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it before she wakes at 5:30.
Before, right.
You're going to, because you're trying to stop, the whole point of the wake to sleep is to stop them from waking up from at 5:30 or you're trying to stop them waking up after 30 minutes or whatever it is, it's to stop that, so it's not after it. So if she's waking up at 5:30 and you're wanting to stop that, I'd be going at 4:45, 45, or even 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, even 30 minutes is quite often enough to be doing it. But if she's waking, how long is it taking her to go back to sleep?
Gavin, how long does she garden for? Maybe half an hour.
Yeah, you could try it and see. It's why, because she's not getting upset, because she's not getting stressed or annoyed or anything like that, she's just going back to sleep, then she's obviously quite happy to go back to sleep, and that's fine. That's good to have that time with her on her own, and it's good that you're not rushing in and causing more of an issue. Because one of the things that happens, that, and I see this all the time on Facebook, that parents will say, my little one gets up at this time, oh my days, I can't get them to settle, I end up in the room, we're talking, playing games, doing this, doing that, and eventually I get them up and take them downstairs at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, well, no, don't even think about it. Have I frozen again?
No,
Yeah.
you froze, your face has, but we can hear you say something. Oh no, I think we've lost her again, guys. Someone was just asking to circulate Jennifer's details, so it's Sleepy Lambs, Sleep Consultants, and her email address I've just popped on the chat there, so it's jennifer@sleepylambs.com if anyone wants to contact her to ask any more questions and stuff. But I think I'm just going to call it a day, guys, because that is 26 minutes past 9 and a lot of you are absolutely shattered, so I'll end the meeting now. But thank you so much for logging on, and I hope you did find it helpful. And if you've got any questions, any of the questions for Jennifer, either email her on that jennifer@sleepylambs.com, or just come via your YogaBellies teacher. So obviously if you're my client, then come to me, or go to Ellie or whoever you came via your YogaBellies teacher. All right, guys, thank you so much. Take care. Thank you and good luck.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye.